Well, the Georgia Bulldogs for a long time thought that they were behind in facilities, and this past week, Kirby Smart talked about that, and he had this to say. He said, "We're not going to be complacent. We will not sit idly by and let others pass us. It's been a catch-up game for us for quite a long time. We feel like we've caught up, but now we have to maintain and continue to grow." This is something that, when you look around the league in the SEC to Georgia's recruiting competitors, whether it's Alabama or LSU or Florida, whoever, Texas in the near future, Georgia was behind. I would say it was catching up until about 6 years, just before Kirby got there, was when Georgia was starting the catch up game. I mean, you got to keep in mind that in 2010, that was when Georgia had an indoor practice facility, which was about the size of my house. So it was just an unacceptable lack of vision from Damon Evans and the athletic board at the time. Just inexcusable waste of money, frankly, that Georgia used when it had to, but it was no more a football field than, you would than I am a star quarterback. I mean, it was a joke, and that money uh, was long gone, a total waste. But during that time, Georgia moved out of their second floor. The football program moved out of second floor Butts Mere in the football offices there into the new facility, which locked into the indoor facility, the so-called indoor meeting space. Um, and that was the time at which Georgia was starting to actually realize that it had to spend money in order to compete at a national level. And from that point forward, Georgia's been spending money in either a big way or a sort of big way. 5 years after that, this is all going off memory. 5 years after that, the actual indoor practice facility was birthed. It came to fruition right when Kirby got there. Keep in mind that Georgia's first season of football under Kirby was spent riding back and forth to the makeshift intramural fields way out on Millage Avenue. So Georgia has had an issue on this front for a while. People complain about Stegman Coliseum. No, I mean Georgia only. I mean, there was a time that I want to make sure I get this completely wrong, but I think there was a time that Georgia had one gr- full grass football field to practice on, 120 feet. I think there was the time they had one full 120-foot grass, and that was the only 120 foot that they had at the time, if memory serves correct. The everything at where Georgia practices has changed so much really in the last 7 years. It's hard for me to keep up and remember it. They've had a lot of turf, they've had a lot of this, that, and the other, but they've not had what they needed. And now Kirby's saying they do. And that helped lead to the national championship. Make sure you're picking up Darkstruction. The number one way to help us out is by and support this site is by getting this book. If you want me to sign it for you, just make sure you email me ahead of time. A lot of folks buy these books after I mention them here. The link is down below. Thanks for supporting us. Kirby and company are going to spend not quite $70 million again here in the near future. Um, the next renovation is going to cost somewhere around 70 million, and that's going to be more upgrades to Sanford. Now, look, um, there's a lot that can still be um, there's a lot that can still be developed over time at Sanford Stadium. It is a really nice place. I have to say, having been around this league for such a long time, it's really nice. But that's a lot of 60 million odd projects now that Georgia is has completed and are about to start. I mean, I don't know what the value of Sanford Stadium is. Some accountant could probably uh, fill us in on that. I think it would be close to $1 billion. I don't know if it would be a billion, but it would be somewhere in that ballpark, probably anywhere from 700 million to a billion, and it still needs to be improved. The thing about Sanford, more than any other, I mean, this is true for all the college stadiums, is they're not getting knocked down. Colleges don't waste stadiums. They don't waste taxpayer money like professional teams who could pay for these stadiums themselves, Falcons slash everybody else, Braves in the world. They actually take private money and build these stadiums, and they use them. And there's a romance involved with Sanford Stadium. There's no romance with the dome. No one cares about that facility in any way. And to prove that, it will be gone in 30 years. Okay, because of the situation at Sanford, Williams, Bryce, the swamp, wherever, you have to continuously upgrade things. You have to continuously make sure you're not falling behind. I mean, I've seen this at Auburn where to me, really had an issue where they were getting behind in a big way. And if you go to Georgia and Alabama, I mean, then you go to Auburn, it wasn't great. And so they fixed it. They started fixing their problem. Um, Georgia's going to the 60 million number, that's going to be spent every 5 years from now on. It could be more than that. And you say, well, what is that money? How could that? It's just what it is, y'all. I mean, that 60 million, let's just call it 70. $70 million is about every 2 years worth of donations at Georgia. So about every 2 years for the Hartman Fund, that money is going to get spent. And it's going to get spent now on big projects. Um, you know, this is a discussion for another time, but if I were Kirby and them, I wonder if I would have just wanted to pick up and put a big new football facility over where intramural fields are, take the intramural fields, put them right where butt smear is and all of that. I think that they've sort of crept in the position that they're in right now. They're landlocked in a way that Clemson or I mean, Tech and Georgia are landlocked with where their facilities are, and they must like it. But if you could start over, that would be a place that you could really, lay things out. It'd be easy for recruits to get there. I mean, but anyway, Georgia's going to spend this money because they need to, they're not curing cancer. When I say need, let's keep it all within the realm of reality here, but they are they are in a competitive marketplace. They need their facility, which is Sanford and Buttsmere and all that. It needs to be not just functional but nice, and you're seeing that more and more and more with the football facility, the indoor practice facility upgrades at Sanford. I mean, that's 80 million, 60 million, and another 70 million. So that's what 150 plus 60 is, almost $250 million or so that's been spent on on football at Georgia lately. 210 million. So not quite a quarter billion, but you get my point. And that you are going to be making such a tremendous amount of money over the next 15 to 20 years off of broadcasting rights. I mean, look, this is money that needs to be well spent when Josh Brooks and Jerry Moorhead go out and to try to raise money for football. It needs to be so that it makes sense. And I think they are addressing the issues of it. Kirby's point is taken and should be listened to. It was been a catch-up game for a long time. We feel like we've caught up, but now we have to maintain and continue to grow. And you got that right.